I
Yeah,
just
I
want
I
to
mean,
just love that
debate.
they have like
I
all
think
of
it's
my
better to
Twitter tweets
address.
in their
Everybody,
phone, and they have my picture in their phone, and like the
ev-
obsession with me is really, it's starting to get to my ego. I'm starting to feel really
It's
important.
just
yeah.
very weird
So
because everybody wants me to.
Face it,
everybody, hold
Martha.
up.
I'm starting to get a little bit of an ego here,
Yeah.
guys.
Yes, that's
I think we
funny.
Jeez.
yes,
It's
we should
like
get it, but we're going to
it's
go
like
back
how
onto
many
the
lives are
topic.
going to be held about me in so many days?
I know.
Okay,
Jeez.
so
Good to allow people to make accusations like she's homophobic without allowing us to actually like fully address the accusations. People are just like, no, she has to apologize. We want an apology first, then we'll figure out what she said later. Like that's not how it
Yeah,
works,
no.
guys. We're
But
not
yeah,
going
also,
to
like,
so
you're
apologize for
not,
something that
you
wasn't
have to,
wrong. We have to
you have to
understand it first. Try to
you have to kiss
understand
gay men's
first.
ass, or else you're homophobic. If you say anything about the gay community or like call out any behavior from gay men, you are homophobic
Oh God,
automatically.
they're gonna
You're
think
just
I'm
not allowed.
super homophobic then, because it's Pride Month and I'm getting ready to take
Even
cameras
though
to
I
the public
speak up, even though
degeneracy.
I
Oh
speak up
no.
against the
But
erasure
wait,
of
so
gay
here's the thing
lesbian
though, is
people
that
and the
Ella.
medicalized conversion therapy of them, but I
Yeah,
hate
but
them,
here's
I
the
guess.
thing, Ella was on Blue's live, so he could have just shown it to me then. Why are you bringing? Like everybody just wants me to see this
Well, maybe he
magical
didn't have
tweet.
it then. Maybe he didn't have it in his phone then.
I
So
guess I don't know.
he
It's just
took
very
a
bizarre
he took
that
a
everybody's
screenshot of
like.
it.
It's just very bizarre that everybody's like, Shiloh, Martha did this and Martha did that and Martha, and I'm like,
Martha. Yep,
yeah, yeah. I'm
I'm
like,
so special.
Is
Jan
Ella
is
gonna come
Jan.
back?
Special.
Is Ella gonna come back with the tweet or no? I guess it's not.
bring him
uh,
up if he
more or
wants to show me
less.
the tweet. Fine. I
Is
don't. At this point, I don't care. At this point, I
we
really don't.
must see the
Right.
tweet,
Well,
please.
it's
The
basically the
tweet.
simple it's the simple point, you know what I mean? That I think a lot of us have kind of come to the realization of in recent times, like during this debate, is that a lot of the people that debate for trans women to enter women's spaces are gay men, right? And we're just kind of pointing out that like, wow, why are so many gay men kind of like indifferent to
We're
the treatment of women? And
marginalized.
right,
That's what they
it's
say.
like we're not saying that all gay men are like, TRAs. No, obviously there are plenty of gay men who are absolutely devastated by this ideology. Shiloh's one of them. He totally
Yep.
fights on our side. We're not trying to say that, he's
W
misogynistic.
gays
But
against screamers.
but what we have
WLGBTI.
seen,
Ow.
what we've seen in the past few years on this
Gays
app,
Against
like
Groomers is run by
I know
women, dear.
I didn't have this position earlier, but in the past few years of debating, I've said, man, there's a lot of like actual misogyny amongst the gay male community. And when you look at
Oh
the
my
drag
god, so
culture,
bad.
you'll actually see this is not just misogyny, it's actually black women that they're mocking. So it's racism and misogyny, right? So and like are people gonna get all upset about that getting pointed out? If Martha said it,
Probably.
yes, they would all be totally going insane. I can say it all day long because I'm a man.
Yep.
But so Shyler, they said that because you don't.
Because I'm
So
like,
Shyler,
go
did
ahead.
they say because gay men don't date women that I think that they're
Yes.
misogynistic? Is that what they said?
They were
What was
associating
sent
your
to me? Hold up, Anna.
homophobia with
So what was
transphobia.
told to me was
Okay.
that you believe that because gay men don't date women, you believe all gay men are misogynist.
Wait.
That
That's
is so
literally-
dumb.
When I
That is
walked
the
That's the
in,
most
dumbest
insane thing
take
I've ever heard.
on the face
when
of
I
the planet.
walked
Like,
in, they were literally
so dumb.
talking about how, oh yeah, well, Martha's transphobic, so of course she would
Which
also be
space, normal.
homophobic.
Like,
Ridiculous.
yeah, they said you called
Fighting,
it the
we're,
eradication of trans
we're fighting this
people,
ideology all day
and
long, and people go, "Oh, well,
yeah.
now you're transphobic." Like, it's
Well,
totally
I mean, I
insane.
am
You see me right now. I'm
incredibly
making like a jerk off
transphobic, like to be
motion in the
clear.
air.
I'm like
It was just
very
very
transphobic.
bizarre. That's all.
Well,
Like,
well, I
no,
definitely
I'm
don't
not
hold that position,
transphobic.
Shyler. That is the dumbest position ever.
So
But you know what
stupid.
happened yesterday? Okay, so Manimal and I were on my live, and I was like, we had a moment of like a bad word being said. So I was like, trans people are the best. We love trans people. Women aren't human. Where there's costumes. Trans ideology is amazing. And then I started like going on this like sarcastic rant about how like, because you know how the TRAs always like compare women's provisions in society to racial segregation. So I
yes.
was
Yeah.
like,
They said
so I
you
was
said
like,
something about blackface.
well, no, that. So then I said, I was like, in my sarcastic rant, I was like, so it's just kind of like how we give disabled people provisions in society so that they can participate more. That's exactly like racial segregation, like because I was making fun of their position in the sarcastic rant. And then Echo, like, he was streaming my live on YouTube, and he was like, he clipped that part and he was like trying to convince all his dumbass followers that like I was 100% serious and there was no sarcasm, that I think that disabled people
Echo
shouldn't have.
has been asking me for my live from like a week ago, and I was like,
they got
I was
it.
like,
They
fuck
played,
no, I'm not giving you my live.
well, they got it anyway. They played the whole clip.
Oh
that I
shit!
said.
So he
Anybody
does
ever
have it?
debate what is transphobia?
Yeah, let's debate that. Okay,
yeah.
I don't, Martha. We can drop.
Because like,
Martha,
is
hold
it
up,
like,
Martha,
I've never
hold up,
seen
Anna.
that here, but I would like to
Hold
talk
up,
about
Anna.
what is
Martha,
transphobia.
We should do a background like
everybody. I don't care about this anymore. Let's get back to trans women or men, because I don't.
Yeah.
I
Hold on.
genuinely don't care anymore.
Oh, wait.
I always ask
You guys
them-
missed it though, because Echo was saying that, like, because we started saying, we started mocking the whole thing about, like reducing women to their biology, right? It's like,
Echo don't need
you
to
know,
ask me a motherfucker.
just
I will.
just hold on. So then I made the comment of, oh yeah, reducing people with Down syndrome to their biology, right? Like,
Yeah, because
like,
anyone could be Down syndrome, right? Otherwise, because
Right,
we were just
yeah,
making
yeah.
fun of their position in like different like scenarios like that, and they totally clipped it, and they were like, "Oh my god, what Manimal said about Down syndrome people, and what Martha said about disabled people," and like, first of all they have to do is watch the live on YouTube and see that it was a sarcastic rant that started with trans people are the best, trans ideology is the most amazing thing, women are costumes, women are not human,
Like,
anybody can be a woman, like. It's either insulting his followers' intelligence or his followers are just that stupid that they would think I would actually say that. Like,
Echo
with all
was,
sincerity.
wait, I have a
People with Down syndrome, it's not a biological condition. Like, that was the whole thing.
Oh,
I don't even know.
Probably
so
not.
there was Echo the one that hosted that live about Elijah a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago?
Yep. Yeah, they hate each other.
Just call out lives, I guess. That's his whole MO.
Yeah, I was
He
gonna
came on the
say,
Muppet and Carrots
I
live.
never really
Carrots live
seen
last
Well,
night.
thanks, Charlie. And I popped in because I couldn't. I was like listening, and I popped in. I was like,
What they're
oh
telling
my
you.
god, you guys, are you serious? And I just called them idiots. I was like, you guys are seriously thinking I would say that non-sarcastically? You're so stupid. And then I went for a swim and I did my laps, and then I came back and they were still going on, and I was like, dude, you guys are still going on about me. Like, this is so pathetic. And it's like, it's giving fan, it's giving obsession. Like, you guys are just wow.
I know. I'll pop into any live and they're like, oh, and there are Martha supporters here. The Martha supporters on the panel. I'm like, and? What? What? Like, what does that matter? I said, yeah, I'm not well, what does that matter? Like, I don't understand. And they're like trying to like kind of try to drag me down or something. I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck
Well, I
what any
appreciate
of you guys
the
think.
people who are brave enough to stand by me, because there is a lot of the bigger wigs who, condemn me, and so everyone threw me under the bus. And the people who didn't throw me under the bus, I really appreciate that. And to anyone I did see throw me under the bus because of their cowardliness, I'm just blocking you. If you're wondering why you're blocked, it's because you're a coward and you fucking threw me under the bus. But anyway, we can move on. Sorry.
So, yeah, no, yeah, sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
so I
okay.
do like the whole transphobia thing. I do want to start because I always ask them, I'm like, well, they're like, well, you're transphobic. I'm like, well, what is transphobic? Can you define it for me? Please define it for me.
Reality
Yeah, exactly.
is biology is transphobia.
I know. I'm like, so are you
Women's
saying that
boundaries.
us?
Women's
Yeah,
boundaries
so
are
us
transphobic.
exactly. So I'm like, so us fighting for women's boundaries and to keep you guys out of our bathrooms, that's transphobic now. And
It
they're
sounds
like,
like it sounds like you guys hate men. That's what it sounds
Yeah, no.
like.
And then gay people and everybody. We're just evil. We're just bad. We're bad, bad people. We're the
Such
baddies.
man haters.
You don't pretend that reality isn't real, and you don't let men live their paraphilias everywhere in society to their own will, then you're just a bad person, I think.
Yeah, exactly. You're disgusting.
But Anna, how's life with like the activism? Like, did you get jumped by Trantifa anymore? Did you like get charges laid? Did you? I saw the footage of them terrorizing not just the mother and the baby, but a mother and a young boy who was literally screaming and crying in terror and fear. So you know you're on the right side of history when you're terrifying like a 7-year-old boy. But anyway,
Yeah, they literally swarmed parents as they were coming out of the event, and they attacked. Well, so they like separated Charlie and I. And then one of them, you saw them tackle me with the bike, right? So
which was horrific.
my leg got injured, but I got a nice little walking cane that's got a taser on it, and I got a bulletproof vest. I've been completely doxxed. I'm now the most doxed detransitioner on the internet. So my full name, my birth name, my address that I currently live at, my phone number all got leaked and spammed by Antifa with bots under all my posts. I did a couple more interviews. I went up to SPD and I pressed charges. The AGP who assaulted me with his bike is getting charged with a hate crime for the robbery and assault of a G man for being a G man.
Shut up! You're
he's being
lying.
charged with a homophobia, hate crime, and robbery and assault. So he was going to be charged with a level 3 felony for assaulting a police officer, but they're trying to get him for the hate crime and the robbery, which is actually bigger.
Yeah.
And then I'm off work for a couple months on a injury break, and I cashed out $20K out of my stock portfolio, and I bought myself another camera and a bulletproof vest and some armor to put under my hat because they bashed my head. So now my Make Common Sense Great Again hat is a little reinforced, and I've got a taser cane, and I got like a backpack that all my cameras sit on, so they can't steal my cameras anymore because they're like hard mounted to me.
Oh, that was not in the video.
Wait, can I ask a question really quick? Ginger Giraffe, she's actually on. Like she said that she wrote a comment in the comments, but she was meaning it sarcastic, but then she got blocked. Can we unblock her? She said she was meaning it sarcastic. I don't know who blocked her, but it might have been an accident.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm
not a
glad you
mod or
got. I'm
anything.
glad you got some like legal action going.
I got legal
And
action.
as the footage comes out, I am horrified. Those people, like, this is the thing, and this is what kind of happened on Echo's panel yesterday too. So Echo's trying to call me out and be like, "Oh my God, Martha's so problematic. Look at her tweets. Look at this." But he's literally got a dude on his panel who's wearing women as a costume and calling for women to be unalived. He said that he wanted Bubbles to blow her head off, and then record it, and so that they could watch it over and over again for their enjoyment. He said that all TERFs and all bigots should be unalived. They should be wiped off the face of the planet. Like, he's literally saying this stuff in real time while they're trying to call out me for not even like sort of the same kind of rhetoric. Like, you can't even pretend anything I've said, even if you want to twist it, is anywhere close to what his fucking panelists are saying in the call out live for me. So this is the people. This is their side. They don't even see it. They don't even see that they're calling for violence against women. They're calling for people to be unalived and tortured. And they think they're on the right side. And they're terrorizing babies, terrorizing children. Like,
yeah,
what?
and like the infrastructure they set up. Look, Martha, the infrastructure they set up. They doxed Ari and I the day after that event. Like the next day, both of us were completely doxed. Our names, our birth names,
so
our current
everyone-
addresses.
Hold on. Hold on. I don't know what's going on, but like I just got dropped for no fucking reason.
We are going to move back to the topic. We dropped some friendlies so we can get some opposition up here.
Okay, well, I mean, that could have been said out loud.
Yes, I know.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know. So we are going to be dropping some friendlies. I believe Yin is in opposition, correct?
I am in opposition.
Can I get your age, Yin?
21.
And you obviously...
9 doors. Why don't you just call yourself 9
It's
doors?
9 doors, aka... Yeah.
I have many names and many forms.
Yeah, weird.
You meant this time.
So this time, I mean, am I like op or am I friendly? I just have one thing. It's like, okay, so if we have all of these AGPs and it's supposedly this terrible paraphilia that everyone wants to keep away from their society, what do you suggest that we do instead of chemically castrating them? So these people are going, they're like, I want to be chemically castrated. You're probably like, no. My question to you is, if this paraphilia is so terrible and horrifying, why would you rather have these people walking around with male levels of testosterone in their systems?
Right, so they're not going and asking to be castrated to, like, you know, deal with their paraphilia and actually become less of a a threat to society. They're asking to be castrated so they can mimic the opposite sex and invade into women's spaces.
Do you understand that for an adult to live with no sex hormones in their system, that it could cause
That's not what they're doing, though, Ian.
problems.
That's not what they're doing, though.
Them with estrogen.
There's that because you have to.
Progesterone. Hold on, yeah, but they still have the arousal then. But here's the thing: like you have to understand that there are paraphilias that get people to cut their legs off. Castration is a very like typical paraphilia for these people. It drives them to do these crazy things. It turns them on. They have a whole castration cult, like paraphiliac pervy group that does this and
yeah,
wants
but
to
you're
do it to
forgetting the
children too.
part that they're actually castrating themselves in order to infiltrate and mimic the female sex as much as possible. And you really want somebody like that? Stop.
So someone like Leah Thomas is never going to mimic them.
Stop. Well, okay, so there's different nefarious reasons, like to get the provisions that are awarded for women because they can't make it work as a male athlete. They want to have access to women's spaces because they want a closer proximity to like women and young girls. Like there's a multitude of different reasons, but like you really think, you know, allowing people to castrate themselves in order to emulate the opposites of the female sex as much as possible is beneficial for these to allow these creeps to do that?
Just because you chemically castrate it doesn't mean it doesn't work at all.
Anna really knows a lot about this.
Well, because you got this misconception that being
I know a lot about this too.
Stops it working completely, and it doesn't.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this too. So when you when you cut off your testosterone levels, whether it's through pills or through surgery in some way, okay, if you live with no sex hormones in your system, you will develop.
Yeah, nobody lives with no sex hormones
and all these terrible things, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't even happen.
And replacing the estrogen with it, like you don't.
Yeah, but they don't remove their adrenal glands, though.
And
they don't remove their adrenal glands.
Estrogen in a male can also like serve to help bone and joint health. Like if in the absence of testosterone, like is that your body can sustain itself on either or, but it can't sustain itself on none.
Yeah, but you've just lied as well.
Maybe we do have laws protecting
you're misunderstanding like how that shit works, because if that were true, women who experience menopause would just like cease to exist.
No, they exist, but I mean, it's very uncomfortable. The joint pain, the osteoporosis.
That's because our bodies are developed for like years and years of menstruation and the estrogen levels that we do have, and because of like aging and the decay of the human body, that's what leads to the drop in estrogen production and how naturally women.
Can I just explain about like the libido thing as well?
And with that comes a lot of suffering.
About that.
It's hold on. It's part of like becoming old, like.
Right. But I'm talking about people who would voluntarily seek chemical castration and replacing their testosterone with estrogen in order to, let's say, like have a less desire for their paraphilias. Do you understand that that's why the treatment exists?
Yeah, but
the reason that they supplement estrogen is just
you can't ask a question and then not expect an answer. Like, come on.
The reason that
you cannot ask a question and not expect anybody to try to answer you. So the reason people go on cross-sex hormones is to emulate the opposite sex as much as possible. If you're castrating yourself or you're removing your natural ability to produce the hormones that are meant for your male or female body, typically in order to not like speed up the decay of the human body that people typically face when they age, you would give yourself synthetic hormones that are meant for your body. But when you're giving yourself the opposite, can you just relax? Fuck. When you give yourself the opposite hormones that aren't meant for your body, it's also as detrimental. But people who are castrating themselves do not remove their adrenal glands, which also are responsible for producing trace amounts of testosterone and estrogen. So you're still getting a level of estrogen or testosterone from your adrenal glands.
Your adrenal glands don't produce enough.
That's
And
why
I'm gonna
Oh my
say
God.
this too. Like, as someone who's actually is currently like medicalized, I have.
You would consider me medicalized also, because I had my sex organs removed that are responsible for producing my
cool.
estrogen
But you
and
know
progesterone.
what? Since I went on HRT and since my tests went low, right? I have thought about sex way less than I did before, and my life is so much more livable.
We think when we're on our own,
And my
we
life
don't.
is so much
But
more
when
livable.
you're around a man, you do. Like, don't act like we still don't like get horny when we're around men or in a situation.
Estrogen doesn't like drop the level of like
we don't get aroused when we're on our own. We don't think about it. But if there's a man there, we do. Like, stop lying. Stop selling this lie. So if a P3 did get chemically castrated, they might not have them thoughts when they're on their own. But as soon as there's a child there, they will, and they can react. And your penis can still work sometimes. Like, stop lying.
Well, well, yeah, like your penis still has like the ability to, become.
Oh, I love you for telling me about my own body and sexuality. Thank you.
Well, I've got that. I'm telling you because like I'm clearly further than you in the transition, so I know how it all works.
Yeah, chemical castration is the lack of ability to. Like,
it's been very beneficial for me. I don't think about sex a lot now.
I don't
like
know what your
way.
problem is, like with interrupting. I just don't get it.
I don't know what your problem is either with interrupting.
I was in the middle of speaking. Are you okay?
So on the basis of that, Yin, I'm guessing since you're on the stance that you disagree, I'm hoping that you would have studies that back up that trans women are women, right? I'm kind of curious to, like.
I'm not here to advocate to like declassify sex segregated spaces. I'm not here to do that.
No, it's not.
I'm just here to bring up real questions, because I think that this ideology is kind of incoherent, because I mean the next option would be to take away people's HRT and to let them live with male levels of hormones in their systems with AGP. People who want to, let's say, get chemically castrated in order to calm down their paraphilia should not have access to that anymore.
I just explained to you that's not the reason that AGPs are getting chemically
one
castrated.
of the effects that it has.
They shouldn't be getting all this based on a pedophilia. They should be getting it based on a disorder alone, not a pedophilia.
Yeah, but that's the whole point, though. I just explained to you that these AGPs aren't getting castrated on the basis of them trying to like make them not exercise their paraphilia anymore. They're literally doing it to make their access to the thing that they desire more easily.
That's a really wild, imaginative thing of what it's like to be trans.
Oh my god! The ultimate end goal is to pass as much as possible so they can be the thing that they desire. That's literally what AGP is.
No, it's because you can get some D. Like that's the real objective there.
These don't want D. They want
D. AGPs are female attracted.
AGPs are straight.
AGPs are
straight men who transition.
Yeah.
I don't understand this whole AGP and why it's called AGP, because I think it's very confusing.
Autogynephile, because you got a sexual target of female.
The reason I don't understand
I can explain it to you.
I mean, I've had it explained to me a lot. but you
don't even understand the concept correctly, because you just misconflated with AGPs being like male attracted when they're not.
Oh no, they're all female attracted.
So you don't actually understand the concept.
Yeah, user. I need your age first.
25.
And what are your thoughts on the prompt?
Oh, I just wanted to say Yin is extremely racist and anti-black, and also fetishizes himself as an Asian trans. He fetishizes himself that he's Asian, trans, and small.
You cut out like 2 times.
Go ahead.
black and racist.
No, I am not anti-black.
And he also fetishizes himself as an Asian transgender woman.
Oh,
What?
okay.
Yeah,
Listen,
he
anybody
says
can
that he's very.
sexualize themselves all they want. I'm gonna say, if you're not excited by yourself, you're doing something wrong. I think.
He says he's very
If you're not
desirable.
excited by yourself, then you're
He's
doing
very,
something wrong.
he's very desirable
What?
because he's Asian, small,
Why would you be
and a
excited
male.
by yourself?
Yeah, I've never once
That's
like
If you're not
weird.
excited
I'm
by yourself, you're
excited
doing
by
something
men with dicks,
wrong.
mate.
Your
Men
partner
with
should be
dicks
excited
excite
by
me.
you. You should be an exciting person. So don't even get me there with that, okay?
Whoa.
So
Because you're Asian,
live a
men
little
are more
bit.
attractive.
Just live a little bit.
You literally
You know?
fetishize your race. You're disgusting.
I don't fetishize. That's just what I look like.
Don't lie.
For real.
AGP.
Yeah, like women don't
You
do
just
that.
said you get off on
women don't
yourself.
look at themselves in the mirror and be like,
You're an
yeah,
AGP?
I love, like, because, you know, especially women who aren't female attracted.
Yeah, like
look
my
at
body
themselves-
does nothing for me. I can look at it and think, yeah, it looks good.
It looks
I like
good.
men's bodies. I like arms and backs and dicks and chests. Like I like men.
Yeah.
They get me excited, not a woman or myself.
I don't
was
see
a
myself
wild
in the
statement,
mirror
that.
and then I'm like, oh yes, this is the object of my desire. I'm like, oh, I look good. So
No,
my
it's about, wow, I'm really looking good
Yeah,
and feeling
if-
myself.
if you
That's what
could
it's
just
like.
stop.
Like, are you
No.
feeling yourself or are you not feeling yourself? Because you should be feeling yourself. And if you're not, then you're doing something wrong.
There's a
That's
difference.
And you're a
completely
sad
different
person.
than
Hold on,
You're a
fetishizing
sad
your race.
person if you're not
that
feeling
is
yourself.
so not what is. Hold on,
You said.
that's not what you said at all.
You should be feeling yourself because if you're not, then you're a sad person.
You should be excited by yourself. Excited and feeling
too.
yourself is totally different.
Yeah, you to find yourself attractive is like finding yourself attractive, but actually getting off on how you look.
Well, that's not what I was saying.
That's what you said. You
No,
said
that's not
getting
what I-
excited about
Yeah.
yourself in the mirror.
That means like, wow, like I'm so excited with myself. I'm gonna go
you're
out.
just
I'm gonna have a
backtracking
drink.
and
Like,
you're trying to cover
you know,
your
like,
tracks.
I'm literally alone. I'm gonna go out to the bar. I'm gonna have a drink because I am feeling myself and I look amazing. Like, duh. Like, well, what's the issue with
just
this?
proves
Yeah,
that these
so you're
gay
like, I
men.
look good, so I'm going to go out to a bar and get
This
the
also
attention
just
of a man.
proves-
So that's normal, yeah? But you're saying you get excited and fucking get off to yourself. Sitting
these
there
gay
fucking flicking
men-
yourself off in the mirror.
And I didn't say that. That's
They
not what I
make
said.
more or less
themselves
what you
into
said.
their. They make themselves into their desire's desire, and that's what Yin does. Disgusting.
I'm sorry, but if y'all haven't done any self work, that's also a little bit cringy too. Like, y'all, it's okay to do self work. It's okay to want to change the way you look.
Having
want to
an
change your
auto.
body and to do it responsibly.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
appreciate
Hold on,
my
though.
body, yeah. I appreciate it when I look at it and I'm happy with it and comfortable. But it doesn't get me excited. It doesn't turn
Having
me
an
on.
autosexuality is not the same as having high self.
My body doesn't reflect what I'm attracted to at all.
Yeah, like getting turned on by what you see in the mirror isn't the same as like finding yourself attractive.
yeah, but you
Just
should
really
appreciate.
hold
You
on
should
your-
appreciate yourself, and you should
Hold
appreciate
on.
yourself. Is what I meant.
That's not getting turned on.
Yeah, we're just saying that like having your sexual target being yourself rather than an external target of the opposite sex or the same sex or both, that like that's what they say, it's an autosexuality. That's different than just liking the way you look, being
just
excited
telling on
to
yourself.
show off yourself or whatever to other people. You're wanting to show yourself off to other people. You're not like turned on by yourself. Like that's a sexual location target of self rather than outside yourself. So that's a whole different thing.
Right. Then also, if these people have auto gynephilia and their target is themselves, why does that make it an issue or a problem?
Also,
Let's forget about the bathrooms. Okay, let's assume
Hey,
everyone-
Jen, you can't ask a question and then go on and not
So,
allow
like,
people
without
to respond.
bathroom compliance and
Jen,
everything.
stop. Allow Martha to answer. Oh my god.
So they don't just have an auto target, they also target women and girls. It's all like it's a paraphilia. It's all wrapped up in a bunch of shit. Like it's kind of complex actually. It's not simple. And everybody's manifestation of it's a little different, but basically they get turned on by the thought of themselves as a woman. They get turned on by women too. They're female attracted and they're making themselves the object of their desire so they can enjoy. Basically it's like it's a perversion, but they would also take a woman if they could, right? Like absolutely.
You know, what do you guys think of this thing called sapphic?
What is that again?
Sapphic is like, it's like the gender ideology equivalent to lesbian. It's sapphic is like that word that you would describe like maybe a bisexual woman who gets with trans men and trans women. Basically, every gender identity except for biological men are people that.
That's not what sapphic means.
Yeah,
What?
that is what sapphic means actually.
No.
So it's supposed to be different from lesbian because at the time there was a Sappho's and Lesbos poem, and Sappho's was like different or
That
whatever.
was such an extreme pivot just to like misrepresent what a word means.
And I
Because-
just
well,
looked
this is
it
what
up,
we're
and
talking-
it just means sexual activity between women.
Yeah,
Well, it has like another connotation that's more like
that's not what it means though.
Because it like includes trans people, trans
No, it
men, and
doesn't.
trans masks.
Sapphic is just like an extreme proclivity to women, meaning adult human females.
I looked it up, and
but
it just said activity between women, like sexual activity between women.
Yeah, but it might be like
be
between
a sapphic. Hold on,
bisexual
to be a
women.
sapphic. Oh my god, to be a sapphic, it's more of a proclivity, but of having sexual relationships with women and not necessarily relationships.
From what I understand about sapphic is that it's more.
Well, you're wrong. It's
Gender
literally
identity.
just women. Wait, it's literally just women who want to be with women sexually without the like relationship aspect.
It just means lesbian. That's all it ever meant.
Yeah, but it's lesbian,
another
but
word.
without the relationship.
It's just another word that people
Literally-
like because, you know, it sounds
No.
kind of like more woo-woo. Or, you know what I mean? Like, people like having different words for things.
Sapphic.
It's like,
sapphic
it's like the Latin word for
It's
lesbian.
not just lesbian though. It's not just lesbian. It's literally like having sexual relationships between women without the like actual relationship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, but it's just lesbian.
I looked up, didn't say anything about not having like a relationship. It just said the sexual attraction and activity between women. So I guess it is. I guess it is just referring to like that aspect of it. But
Lesbian
doesn't
Sexual
behavior.
activity,
Word for
yes.
but it
Lesbian
doesn't
behavior.
necessarily mean that they don't have a relationship too. It's
No,
just like,
that's the actual root though. Like the definition points to strictly the sexual relationship only.
yeah, the attraction and the activity is what that is.
Yeah.
Well, from what I understand about being sapphic is that it
Well,
usually
you're
means
wrong.
that these
You're wrong.
people like are like compatible with gender ideology.
Sorry, but you're just wrong.
Yeah,
Like
you're
you,
wrong.
you have no idea what you're talking about.
No one
My
has a
understanding is, well,
sexuality
you're
that's
wrong.
based on...
Uh,
Nobody has
okay.
a sexuality that's
Sorry,
based
but-
on, like, appearance, like what people look like. Or
'Cause all
or
of the
especially not
women-
identity.
Your understanding is incorrect.
No, because all the women
Martha?
who've ever like
Like,
asked
think
me
about it like
out
this.
have been identified
Basically,
as
like,
sapphic.
you know, it's like some people saying, I have only like sexy people. That's my sexuality. It's only attractive people. I'm only attracted to attractive people of the opposite sex, right? Like what? You know what I mean? Doesn't make any sense.
All,
Yeah.
all I know is that every woman who's ever asked me out
Well,
has
you're
identified
wrong.
as sapphic. That's what I
Well, you're wrong.
know. Maybe I am
All
wrong.
you know is that you're wrong. That's what we're here to tell you, Yin. You are just always wrong, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw Anna got mauled, and I wanted to talk with her about that because I live on. Yeah.
You live in Washington?
No, I don't. Like, I was just like, wow, like that's happening pretty close to me. I was like,
Wait,
No.
what did you say? You wanted to congratulate him?
no, like I was just like, oh my god, like y'all got mauled. Like I wanted to talk with them about that.
Because trans activists are so
What?
are so
And rub it
sane.
in his face? Like, what? Do you think it's funny?
No, I mean, because I was just like, oh my god.
You were just laughing. Like, I don't understand.
I don't. I mean, I'm just. It makes me a little bit like afraid too. Like I'm not gonna lie, but because things are getting so
It's your
intense.
side. It's your
It's
side.
your
Jen.
side that attacked him.
Our side doesn't attack people.
Listen, sides have attacked. I mean, this is a American left and American right issue. It's not just gender ideology.
I can guarantee you that TERFs have never attacked trans people. I can't even bring me one, just one.
Yeah, for real. Especially the level of like violence that is like insinuated on us.
And
Why would they attack us
we would never
anyway
have like
when they know we're a
placards
threat?
saying,
Like, that's why they're complaining about it, because they know we're male and that, like, as if they're going to attack us.
and Yin, you should have seen like the rally that he got attacked at. They were also terrorizing mothers and children. This is the trans activists. They are just stand up, wholesome folk who just terrorize children and babies. A baby, like the baby was screaming and crying with terror, and they were still screaming and F you and like just intimidating and rushing the mother who was holding her baby and trying to protect herself.
I mean, Animosity was screaming with a really raspy voice into a megaphone. So I was like, I mean, it just looks really intense in general.
Protest works. I don't know if you know how protests work, but like,
right. But I was like, there's a
usually
lot
when
of anger.
you're speaking about something, you speak loud. Like,
right, but
he was protesting the harm that this ideology does to children and to himself, because he was young when they castrated and took his sex body away from him.
Yeah, that's something to be passionate.
Kids can't consent, but I guess they can in this scenario. You know, you can sexually
somebody
destroy a child.
speaking loudly into a megaphone is the equivalent, or is worth or justified by being attacked. And
I mean, it wasn't just like speaking loudly, like the way that the voice just sound. I was just like,
you still think that justifies being attacked?
No, I don't. But I recognize that, like,
yeah, you almost excused it.
It was
like 2
almost
minutes
a violent tone. It was like a violent tone.
Oh my god, be fucking for real! Somebody being passionate.
No, but and it's. I'm not saying that it was warranted or anything. I'm saying that it's getting
somebody being
wild
passionate
out
about
here,
the harm that they faced as a child because of a social contagion.
Like, violence is a physical thing.
For real, like somebody being passionate about
mad about the ideology.
Yeah, somebody being passionate about the harm that they faced as a child because of a social contagion and cult, and being mad, like it's worth. It is justifiable.
The detransitioners should be livid. They should be like
fucking disgusted.
Holy shit! They should be so mad. And they are.
They've literally been like took the piss out of and like run through some big thing, but they shouldn't have been through.
Imagine if I took the same energy to all of the reasons that I was hurt as a child. Like, I don't know, like...
Well, when people speak up against, like, child essay, or people speak up against DV, or whatever other harm that affects demographics of people, like, if they're protesting, when women protest in the street against, like, sexual violence against women.
What do you do when your mother, all she does is like make excuses and teams up with your father against you?
Yeah, like mine did.
Yeah, like mine did too.
I think you're getting too personal.
I'm just saying, we're not really debating. Should I be able to just like go
you're not even debating. You're just bringing up.
Should I go?
When women protest against this in public, when they protest against this. Like any demographic of people who are protesting against a harm that is being caused to them, obviously they're going to be passionate about it. They were harmed. Hello?
Yeah. He's pissed. And he's actually, like, the detransitioners they need to have the loudest voices because they are the ones who are going to end this ideology more so than almost any other group that's harmed by this ideology. They are the most harmed by it. I think women almost equally, because we lost all of our sex-based rights and protections and provisions and, like, you know, were erased. But they were, like, their individual lives, like, as much as I don't like being erased as a protected sex class, my body wasn't destroyed and my fertility wasn't destroyed and my life wasn't destroyed in that way. So they have the most harm heaped on each individual by this cult, so their voices are more than important.
I think like people should listen to them myself. Like, I don't believe detransitioners were ever trans, but it still proves that the ideology is like a big lie and they're grooming people into believing it. Like, transitioners literally prove that it's not real. The ideology. They're saying they're trans when they're not, and then they back out of it. After they've harmed their bodies, after they've been groomed, literally.
There's just too little energy for this. I mean, do you guys think that nobody is happy with their transition?
You happy with mine?
I think that there's a level of if people truly have a dysphoric like idea about their body and they have the symptom of like, I have to do something to fix this or else I won't feel better. And then the treatment is to emulate the opposite sex as much as possible. They don't actually treat it. They don't actually emulate the opposite sex because you can't change your sex. So all these people are sold on a lie. They're sold on the idea that no, they can do all these things to be the opposite sex when they can't. And all they can do is emulate the opposite sex as much as possible. So that doesn't actually fix the dysphoria. Doesn't make it go away. It alleviates it. It makes it feel better.
Think they can be a woman. Like, you'll never be
I
happy
mean, you're
if you don't
speaking a
accept
lot
you're just
about like what
transsexual.
you think this is like. I feel like Lexi. I mean,
That's not my name.
Lex, I'm sorry, but you know, I think that there's people that transition that have a realistic idea of what it's gonna do.
Well, that's what I'm
and they
saying.
have-
Like, the majority of people who transition are already set up on a lie. Like, there's all these trans people sit there and say like, oh, I'm a woman because I identify as a woman, and I'm a man because I identify as a man, and they don't have like an understanding of reality like people like Chloe do. And then also on top of that, like, the way that we've created the society that we've created and the environment that we created, where the treatment alone is supposedly the thing that makes somebody with gender dysphoria feel better, when it actually doesn't do anything. Like, it makes you
I think
alleviate the gender dysphoria a little bit, but like, it doesn't make it go away. Like, you're still going to be dysphoric because you aren't the actual opposite sex.
wow, you're speaking like you're a trans person now, aren't you?
Are you okay?
She's educated. We can never get rid of dysphoria.
It's just common sense.
It's incurable. You can alleviate it, but we don't get rid of it.
Yeah,
Just learn to live with it.
if the basis of gender dysphoria is that you have such distress with the body that you're born with, like your sex body, your genitals, your reproductive pathway.
If you could fix
you are
it,
trans and
you
have a
detransition at the end.
view of
You
yourself?
detransition once it was fixed.
Yeah,
But
It makes no
I'm a
sense
trans
to say
person
it's
and I have a
curable.
positive view of myself. You know,
And
like
so do I, but we've still got dysphoria.
yeah. Like, and then the other thing too is like, often like people who aren't like Chloe and have like a sense of reality and understanding, like these surgeries don't actually like make you the opposite sex. Well, all these people who are delusional and think that it does, and you can't tell me that they don't.
yeah,
They-
but I
they
think there's
go
a type
through-
of trans person that
Can you
knows
just-
that and is also happy with their transition. You know,
Yeah, so they go through this like honeymoon phase of like, okay, this particular bottom surgery, I just need this and then I'll feel better about my body. And I've seen this like countless of times where they'll get the bottom surgery, or they'll start the hormones, or they'll do a top surgery, or they'll get breast implants, and then they'll look at themselves in the mirror like 5 or 6 or 7 years later, or even sooner, and look at themselves in the mirror and be like, well, no, I need like a hairline reduction, or facial feminization, or chin implants to look more masculine, or all these little like nitpicky little things that they need to do to themselves in order to look more like the opposite sex as much as possible.
right? But what
And it just
isn't
becomes
there-
a snowball effect of like, okay, they aren't actually happy with the procedure that they went with because they're seeking out more procedures.
well, okay.
Just like any other
There's
like
also just
person
any-
who's addicted to plastic surgery.
Right. It's just like any other person who's addicted to plastic surgery at some point. And I mean, at some point, you know, insurance stops paying for it if they decide they don't think you need it anymore. And at that point, people
That's not
go and
that's
pay.
not the environment that we've created, especially in Western countries, like especially in Canada and the UK, when these things are covered by free healthcare. Like women who have gone through cancer and had a double mastectomy can't get a breast implant to replace what was once lost.
Yes, they
but,
can.
like,
In some states, they can. In my state, they can.
I'm talking about
and our
Canada.
federal insurance covers it.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I'm talking about Canada and the UK right now, places where healthcare is free. So women can't,
Quote unquote free. Quote unquote
well,
free.
paid by taxpayers, but like
Yeah.
I can walk into a hospital with a broken arm and I don't have to pay 20 grand free. Like, I don't know. But women who have double mastectomies under free healthcare, quote, they don't have the option to get a breast implant in order to replace or at least like mimic what was once lost. But like T women can get those things on for free.
well, in my state, I'm so glad that they actually can here. And my
Over here, we actually don't. Over here, we don't get top surgery free at all.
No? Okay.
No, we only get the bottom surgery free. The rest, anything else is cosmetic.
And yeah. Well, I'm glad. Did they scale back a little bit or was it never free?
Like that for a while. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that they connect to, the dysphoria itself. The rest is just like wanting to be pretty. Know what I mean?
Okay.
Political.
People would argue. Sorry.
What was it? Sorry, political.
20.
And what are your thoughts on the prompt?
There's 4 genders.
And what are the
Girl, boy, woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Man, woman. Yeah, whatever. It's just silly.
Well, boys and girls are like eventually they grow up to, or they have the proclivity to grow up into men and women. Like they become men and women. So it is just 2 genders.
I mean, the gender is societal.
It's not. We have genders for all species.
No, gender is societal. And if you're racist, it's very anti-multicultural.
What? What? Yeah, the racist is telling people that it's racist to recognize genders. That's crazy.
Oh, is it
To be
racist?
like, oh no, there's male and female, and it's dictated by your biological sex, and all of your things that you do in society have to align to your. That is just like so.
Nobody says that they have to align. Hello,
Gender is societal.
Yeah, the commonality that all women share is that they're female. There's nothing wrong with categorizing groups of people based on their sex.
Some women have XY chromosomes, babe. So no,
Yeah, they're
some
still
women are
female.
male.
Bro, we don't.
You've just said some women, they're still female, yeah?
Some women are male, and males can be women.
No,
and
they're
females.
not.
No women are male. Not one woman is a male.
We don't define sex by chromosomes.
Can you guys get sex determination versus defining sex confused?
What? What have you just whispered?
I wasn't whispering, what?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're kind of quiet.
I don't know, I said you guys get sex determination versus defining sex confused.
I don't. I know what sex determination is.
No, I was talking about you.
Oh. Yeah, sex isn't defined by chromosomes. And that's because of people with like varying chromosomes. And the definition of female is a human whose body is built around or has the capacity to produce large gametes. That definition includes women like myself who no longer have a uterus or ovaries. I'm still female. My body's still built around being able to produce those things.
Yeah.
There's female, and then there's gynecoid, and that's so different.
What?
Like there's femaleness, and then there's gynecoidness, and that's completely different.
You just made up a fucking word. Hello?
Weird.
No, it's a word that we use in anthropology. And I will say that, the fact that...
Anthropology covers what?
Yeah, so the fact that we have went and named this like type of like kind of condition android versus gynecoid Like we used like the average of white people to make that distinction.
Oh my god,
Oh
what
my
are you
God.
going on about race for, bro?
This is anthropology.
Hold
No,
on.
but this,
Is there any race that doesn't have like male and female? But
so every race has male and female, but from a societal and anthropological, from an anthropology standpoint, okay, what is considered to be fashioned like a female can is actually like
a female
entirely not true.
Yeah, because you're basing it off of like stereotypes that are typically associated with females. I'm saying females are people, humans, right, whose bodies denote or are built around the production of large gametes. There's no race that doesn't include.
That's true, but there's a difference between like what's classified as gynecoid or fashioned like a female versus an actual female.
What does that even mean?
What are you saying? Every female is an actual female? What are you talking about?
There isn't levels of femaleness.
Jesus Christ. The shit you do and the madness you chat just because you're a man with a disorder is crazy.
No, I'm
You're
not
a fucking
chatting
woman,
with
accept
madness
it.
because I'm a man with a disorder.
You're a man with a disorder. Get a grip of yourself, girl.
There
Make
isn't
this
like
sound
levels
weird.
of femaleness. It's either you're female or you're male.
You're a female or you're a male, but you can also be a gynecoid male.
No.
What does that even mean? Like, you're just a male.
I know, mean,
Well, that
yeah,
y'all don't want to know.
That doesn't
I
make
could
sense
answer
at
that
all.
question for you, but y'all don't want to know.
You're wrong.
Because you're basing it off
You said gynecoid male. That still means a male, though. You're still referring to a male.
A male with a wide birth canal.
A what?
With a wide inlet and outlet. Inlet and outlet is the same size.
Inlet
Hold
and
on, a male
outlet.
that's born. Hold on, a male that's born with androgynous genitalia, like there's
So it's not androgynous.
genitalia. The genitalia
Androgynous
is
would be if it was like an actual andropoid pelvis. So only women can be androgynous. Men can't be androgynous.
What?
What?
You know what androgynous is?
Males are just male. Only women can be androgynous.
What are you talking about? Androgynous is not an
andro-
actual biological thing. It's just when you can't tell someone's male or female by the characteristics. It's a
No,
look.
andro means like a male, fashioned like a male, versus gyno, fashioned like a female.
I know
But,
what andro means.
like android and gynecoid characteristics
We're
can
just arguing semantics.
appear in either
This is
sex.
stupid. You're
That's the
talking
thing.
for
utter
real.
shit.
Like,
It is
you're basing
entirely
this
based
off
off of
You are
natural
talking
selection.
poo. You think
Yeah,
you
you're
sound
basing
clever?
And
it
it's
off
not
of, like,
nonsense. It's not nonsense.
anthropology.
It's
Because
definitely nonsense what you're talking right now.
It's not.
It
It's
is.
not.
It is.
It is.
Like biologically, there's male and female. If there's a male that's presenting with like female, like genitalia or reproductive like characteristics, those characteristics are on a male body. That doesn't make them female.
No, it's not a variation of sex. It's an abnormality.
It's not an abnormality. No, it's not.
It's not a variation.
If
it's
a
a
man's got a
mutation.
vagina, it's an abnormality.
It's not even a vagina.
You guys
though,
are
it's
you
a
guys are really
pseudo-vagina.
bigoted. You guys are really bigoted and unaccepting.
You're just
of-
stupid.
No, I'm not stupid.
You are stupid.
You are. You're referencing anthropology. That's stupid. It's not based in science.
Well, it's a social science. It's a science of studying natural selection. Yeah.
A social science
So is it social or
that
biological?
directly
'Cause you're
correlates
talking-
like
Both,
I am
actually.
not having this conversation. You are a dunce. I'm out. See you all later. Bye.
So I could explain it if you guys want to hear, but
No, we don't. Because it's absolute bullshit.
you're bullshit.
No, you're referencing a mutation that's very disingenuous to get.
It's
you
not a
put in front of
mutation,
the
actually. It's just
A
completely normal.
DSD is a mutation.
It's rather common, actually,
It's
for
not
women
a
to be
variation,
androgynous.
it's a mutation.
For women to be androgynous and to require C-section because their birth canal is shaped like a heart. Yeah, it's actually pretty normal. You know, it's like a minimum of 25% of women, especially Black women, have this type of pelvis. That's considered to be very mannish, actually, and that ties into the idea.
Okay, so
That's
they
why
have
people are
one
referencing
feature
race all the
that colour-
time with androgyny. Because the standards that we made for deciding that this was called gynecoid, i.e. fashioned like a female, was determined by what was normal for white people. It was. So that's it. Thank you. Bye.
Am I the only one left on this panel?
Yeah, it's me and you.
Oh gosh, what was? They're just an AGP, and to reference a mutation to get your point across is so disingenuous. I don't understand it. It's actually,
Yeah,
I mean, they just
you
sent
brought up.
everyone away. That's pretty sad.
They brought up DSDs.
That's what I mean. Just disingenuous. It's not a variation in sex. It's an abnormality. It's a
Yeah,
mutation.
what I notice when people bring up those things, they don't really understand it fully what they're talking about. But when you actually bring up that you know what they're talking about, they don't really have any leverage then.
That's what I mean. And anthropology is a soft science. It's not really rooted in biology. I don't believe in like half the shit that anthropology spews out. To what? To rectify? I don't even know.
Yeah,
No,
that is
I don't even
true.
know. I
With
just
that
feel like
exact
I'm so
logic, yeah, a kid would be a new gender if they're born blind. Yeah. I like to see them argue that point because they'd just be tearing down their own logic.
It's just, it's ridiculous. Like, we know there's two genders that denote to sex. Like, you don't have to bring up something that's so atypical to get your point across. You still either denote to the female or male reproductive pathway. Like, what are you on about? About a pelvis shape different correlates to being a man? No, it doesn't.
You're
Absolute
like,
lunacy.
yeah, that would be down to the point of that you had, DSD or you had a condition.
That's what I mean. It's an abnormality. It's not a variation.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I don't mean that in like a cruel way, but that's just how it is.
The science literally says that and puts it into depth. Like, and there's 40 different variations of conditions.
Yeah, and they're either male or female, no matter what way you slice it. Like, it's such a rarity. Like, it's such a rarity as well. Like, I don't know. I just thought Yin was an AGP. They literally mentioned getting excited. Like, I'm doing a pivot, right? Like, they mentioned getting excited over themselves. It said they don't think about sex as much because they've been like castrated. Like, and then they're just mentioning DSDs. Like, the whole argument was on what? And they're under the guise that they're being informative. No, you're not. You're being disgenuine. You're actually delusional.
You're spreading very harmful misinformation.
That's what I mean. Like, yo, this is my stance, right? If you think you're a woman and you think you're a man, yeah, live your life. Don't encroach on my. Don't try take away my language and play semantics. Do what you're doing, but we're not the same. Understand that, and you will never be the same as me because you have to pump yourself full of synthetic hormones, and then you want to medicalize kids. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know what the school's coming to. It's just a battle of semantics.
And what people don't get mixed up all the time, right, is that they're like, "Oh, you're against all trans people." I'm like, "No, I'm not against the ones that just live their life to live their life. The ones that transition and make themselves feel good about themselves. I don't have a problem
more
with
power
them.
to them. More power to them.
The problem I have is with the men who claim they're women and take over women's spaces. That's my problem.
They will defend that. They will die on that hill. That they're allowed to do that, and they're allowed to not go through any medicalization. Okay, that's your choice, but you're still a male. You haven't assimilated at all to being like perceived as a female, and people will affirm the delusion and say, "Oh, you're a woman no matter what." No, you're not. You're making all these women uncomfortable. We're already a protected sex class. Like, come off it. And no, the self-ID is where I draw the line. If you've kind of medicalized, fair enough. But the self-IDing thing is really what rubs me the wrong way.
Connor, can you get your age? Connor, gonna get your age? Okay, see you, Connor. I asked you a simple task. But yeah, the line where it shouldn't be crossed is the self-IDers, because yeah, there is no standard. There is no really guideline or really any rules to go with it. Anyone can self-ID. Anyone can claim they're a woman, and anyone can have access to these women-only spaces.
And how they don't see that as being hazardous is disgusting. Like your inclusivity is my exclusivity, because you're making me uncomfortable in spaces that are catered to me, and they're sex segregated. They're not. If you want to go on the basis that gender is a social construct, yeah, and be delusional, you're like it's encroaching on me, because it's like I actually don't understand. I actually really don't. I'm so passionate about it because we are a protected sex class. You're abolishing that. You're taking that away from us. And these people that blindly preach, like, being inclusive, like, they don't see the damage that they're doing, and they'll jump through hoops to try and justify why they should be in them spaces. It's not right.
And they'll literally, the females I mostly talk to about this, that defend this ideology, they're the ones that are like, take down the patriarchy. I'm like, you're literally welcoming it into women.
Because
you're welcoming it with open arms.
Their whole existence is based on, oh, it's an intrinsic feeling. Okay, cool. And then you emulate what a woman is, and it's based on stereotypes. We just are women, right? And you know, it is like due to a woman is based on a reproductive pathway, but we are that. Do you know? Yeah. And you're just keeping us stagnant by just walking around as stereotypes. Just be an effeminate man. If you want to wear a dress, no, like, fair enough. You know, it's not like too widely accepted, but people probably wouldn't give a fuck. I'd be more bothered if you're walking into my toilets than if you're just a man wearing a dress. Like, do you think?
It's just the fact that they are like, we are women. And like,
you're born what you are. Yeah, you can argue all you like that gender is societal, but using that same logic, your illness is a societal construct. It's not like there's an inception point to it. It's disgusting, honestly. Like, I do agree, like, with transsexuals that have medicalised, they're at a risk as well to walk into a male's bathroom, but they've made the choice to transition. They've made that choice to alter their body to conform to what they believe a woman is. It's a mimic of what we are, and that's not what you are. You are a male. And we have sex-based provisions. Use your toilet or use a third space. But even so, for saying that, these TRAs are comparing it to race segregation. No, not at all.
So consume. The reason why it concerns Shirley, right, and I'm just advocating, is because men are actively taking advantage of women's spaces. And they're calling themselves quote unquote trans to get access to these spaces. So the reason why it concerns me is because I'm out here advocating for women's spaces. If I wanted to affirm a man and said that he's a woman, we might as well tear down every single men and women's washroom and just say, oh, it's both. They're both. You can
I
use
mean,
it.
I think it's nuanced, as in there's levels to it, right? Like, say if your workplace or
Request up,
whatever,
and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Request up and
if you're
I'll tell you
uncomfortable
why.
with someone in a bathroom, then that's on you. I'm a woman. I'm vulnerable to males. I do not want males in my toilet. What don't you understand?
So consume. Once you're up here, give me your age.
17.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're too young. Sorry, you're a
Yeah.
fetus. That's why.
yeah. These are the people that are blindly following.
Yeah. So consume. You need to be 18 or older to be on the panel.
You're a child.
Maybe you can identify as being 18 because I guess people do that, but I wouldn't suggest it. It's for TikTok purposes. But the reason why this concerns, and this is you should go against this, is because you shouldn't be on this side saying, I allow men into the same spaces as I do because they identify with it.
Nobody forced you to do anything. Write your response in the comments then, because you're
I
absolutely.
didn't know your age. I thought you were an adult.
Nobody
Because
forced you into it. He didn't hold a pew pew to your head and tell you to come up. So let's not jump on the fact.
you did request in the guests.
Well, it was your choice whether to accept it. So no one
Yes,
forced
I
you
don't
to
have the.
victimize yourself.
I don't even have the option to invite you. Consume. You requested it, but the reason why we're trying to lead you away from this is because it's harmful to you when you grow up. It's going to be harmful, and it's going to affect the newer generations if we allow this.
It is affecting you, Kitsune. If you're a woman, it is affecting you. Our sex-based rights are being abolished. Our provisions as women are being abolished due to this ideology. Do you not understand that? They are not women. They are men. They are men, and they are encroaching on our spaces that are sex-based. Do you not understand that? We are vulnerable. Why are we protected? Why are we a protected sex? Because of men. Because men are predatory. I'm not tarring all men with the same brush, but they commit like 97% of like SA crimes. Yeah? And you want them in the toilets with us? You want people that are attracted to themselves, have such a love for women in a disturbing way that they get off on themselves. So you want that in the toilet with you? Do you not understand? Do you not understand what you're advocating for? Your inclusivity is encroaching on us. Gender identity. Your gender is correlated to your sex. How you express yourself is different.
So,
This is the question. Why aren't gay men allowed in women's prisons?
Also, consume that kind of debunks your whole theory, right? Like, so does gender identity trump gender? Because what you're saying, right, is like it shouldn't bother us because a man wants to identify as a woman. So does that trump that woman's rights for her to have access to a safe women's space that was specifically designed for a woman? Is that what you're telling me? That gender identity trumps that? Because, not everyone agrees with gender identity, but they still go through with it anyway. So are you saying that it trumps gender? Because to me, that doesn't, because women is a protected sex class. They're protected. But who are we to say, oh, but gender identity trumps that because we need to affirm their identity?
Calling males women abolishes that because they are allowed in our spaces. Do you not understand that? That this battle on semantics is impeding on our rights?
Do you guys hear the birds chirping?
Yeah.
No.
They might be cats based on perception, so I'm sure they're good.
You're muffling, babe.
Alright, Yin, are you gonna like state your case or are you just gonna sit here in silence?
I'm saying gynecoid and female are completely different. Completely different.
You're referring to a DSD. You're referring to a mutation.
Huh?
How are you not referring to a mutation?
It's not mutation because it's generally not like a DSD if you have like a
It's
variation.
generally not a DSD, so it is a DSD or it isn't.
It's not.
Okay.
It's just what we classify to be fashioned like a male versus fashioned like a female, or fashioned like an ape or a primate. That's also another significant part of the population is considered like ape-like in their sort of composition with their skeleton. So there's male and female, and there's like, oh, like this type is like an ape. That's like 25% of people, and then another percent are like a different type of thing. So, I mean, a lot of these averages were, made based off of like what's normal for white people, what's normal for white females is considered gynecoid.
So what qualifies as somebody being a gynecoid?
The shape of the pelvic inlet and the pelvic outlet.
That's not what defines what. That's not what we define women based on. It's based on reproductive pathway.
That's true, but we also have this like classification of, from an anthropological standpoint. We're always talking about, well, we're going to dig up the skeleton and find out that it's a male, but and it's not always because of DSDs that this happens. Like, you have to understand, like, a lot of this idea of what we think or what we accept a woman to look like or a female to be like is actually just natural selection and, in fact, not female traits at all. So what I'm saying is, what you're saying is true. Females are just females, but we need to develop like an open view of what females can actually look and be like.
Yeah, not males. That's what I'm saying. Not denoting to the pathway to produce small gametes.
Sometimes women can have maladapted traits that are normal for men and make it hard for them to give birth, even though they do not have a DSD.
Yeah.
A lot of what people think might be a DSD is actually entirely not a DSD, and it's just up to natural selection.
Give me an example. Wait, Yin, give me an example of what you just said.
Animal has two sexes. They're either a male or
So am I going to talk to the host, or am I going to talk to Shirley? Because I think Shirley thinks everything is about her.
Not really.
Yeah, so give me an example of what you just said then.
So we have 4 types of pelvises that are most common in the human species. We have one called gynecoid, traditionally associated with white women. Okay. And then there's android, which is fashioned like a male. Okay. About maybe it's the most prevalent pelvic type in both sexes, actually, the android pelvis. In women, it can cause a lot of like difficulty with vaginal birth, and a lot of these women will require a C-section. An android pelvis is characterized by a heart-shaped inlet, which is usually normal for men. Gynecoid has the same size inlet and outlet. There is an anthropoid, which is more narrow but deeper with more projection, and so it's like an oval. And then we have the opposite type of oval, which is more like flatter from the front to back and wider from side to side. And that's the most rare one. I forget what it's called. It starts with a P, but about 8% of women have that. And 25% of Black women have android pelvis, which is another, and also the anthropoid. Anthropoid is means like fashioned like an ape or a primate. So a lot of these anthropologists also classify these people as like ape-like, male-like, female-like, and
yeah, but like it doesn't mean they are.
Right, but what do you think of when you think of the epitome of womanhood? You think of like a lot gynecoid pelvises, but gynecoid traits.
I think you want to sound smart.
Gynecoid traits can manifest in many ways, not just the pelvis. Okay, it manifests in soft tissue. It manifests in yeah, also the soft tissue as well, and so does the android thing. I mean, Simone Biles. Are you kidding me? Like,
Oh my god.
Wait, hold on. What are we talking about right now?
we're talking about.
I think Yin knows what she's talking about.
We're talking about keeping an open
Hold on,
view.
Shirley. You're kind of muffled right now, Shirley. I can't really
You
understand
just
you.
want to sound smart, Yin. You don't know what you're on about.
You're kind of muffled.
We base sex based off the reproductive pathway, right? Regardless of if it works, regardless of what shape pelvis you have, you cannot dispute that. Nobody cares if a woman has male-like qualities. They are still a woman.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
still a female. What are you on about?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Nobody cares about anthropology. Nobody cares. Because it's a soft science and it's not really rooted in biology. It's observation.
Yeah, because genuinely, like, there's a difference between wanting to identify as a woman and being a woman. It's a huge difference. And it's just, I know so many trans people, and there's so many trans influencers that everybody loves that agree with that. And it's just like the people who say that they're biological or they are real women, blah, 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 all these things when they're trans, they're just like, it's either rage bait or they just, you know, because they know they're not.
They
know that they're males.
Yeah. They want to let men in the fucking women's toilet.
Oh, no, that's not okay because, like I said, in the UK, it's in the UK, 47% of trans women in prison are there for SA against women, and in America, 74%, which counts as majority of a group, in prison are there for the SA of women. So I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying all trans women are SAers, but if there's so many doing it, what makes anybody think, even trans women themselves, that even their community will be fine being in the bathroom? Because even if all trans women are completely safe, which is already just a lie, there are so many that have already done things to women, it's going to open a gateway for men to just walk in there and dress up. And you're saying, well, how's that? Yeah, and even though that's not like your issue itself, still, if I pass a law that anybody could walk into my house, if something were to happen to my children, that's on me. Even though I didn't do it, I was the one who let them into my house. So because the trans community is fighting so hard to be let into women's spaces, if it happens and when all these women are going to get hurt unalived, SA, because it's already been happening and it's not even legal, that's not going to be on us. That's going to be on the trans women for passing that law because they care more about their feelings than actual women's safety. And it blows my mind because it shows the selfishness, the ignorance, and it shows the male privilege that they still have in their head.
Also, just want to add this: as soon as countries started affirming trans women as women, the crime rates of women, quote unquote, women, have ramped up as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
They've messed up provisions up.
Oh, don't get me started. A 16-year-old girl was essayed by a man. He came out as trans before the trial happened. So he essayed her as a man, well, he identified as a man. And when the trial happened, because typically trials happen a few months later, when the trial happened, he claimed he was a trans woman. He wanted to be in the women's prison. And the judge made the 16-year-old girl call her abuser a she, her, or she would get in trouble and wouldn't be allowed to be there because that's disrespectful. Like, are you kidding me? Why do you want to be in a woman's prison? Like, do people realize? So you want to be a woman. Let's get this right. So trans women, you want to be a woman. But when we're straight up throwing literal proof and real life cases in your face, saying everything you're trying to pass right now is literally going to literally harm trans or harm women. It's not going to harm trans women if they're not allowed in the women's bathroom. There's intersex bathrooms. You could fight for an intersex bathroom in every single public place. That would definitely work. Like, are you serious? Nobody's done that. Yet we're fighting to violate privacy, respect, and like you expect people to call you she, her, but then you're so disrespectful that you'll just walk into like a public changing room at a pool with little girls when you're a grown man.
Well, the thing is, if we cannot accept that gender is a societal construct, then we're not going to have multi-use third gender spaces. Like, that's the thing that you guys completely reject.
You know what unisex is?
They, them. You guys are rejecting they, them, and you guys are rejecting all gender identities. That's why That's why we don't have multi-use
You're
all-gender bathrooms,
recognized.
because you guys don't
You're
believe in all
recognized. You
gender.
blurred the
Hold
line
on,
between
Yin, hold
If
on.
you guys are
Listen,
gonna
Yin, that's not what I said. I didn't say we should have a
no,
bathroom
but
for
your side, no,
non-binary
but your
people.
side
We
is
should have a
collectively
we should have
rejecting
the. Can
non-binary
I?
too.
Okay.
Non-binary people are not taken
Not,
seriously.
No, they're
non-binary
not.
people. If
They're
you're
not, because you
non-binary,
all
I will
consider
call you a they
binary.
them, but you shouldn't be walking into whatever bathroom you want just because you feel you're either or. Like, that's not how it works. I'll call you whatever I want. I don't care. You can. I will call you she her. I'll call you they them. I really don't care. But when it comes to safety matters like this, it doesn't matter what you feel. Safety of women and children come before a man's feelings. That should just be like a given fact. That shouldn't even be a debate, honestly. Like, I don't know why it is. Like, you guys literally have the power. You're fighting, not you, but you know what I'm saying. Trans women, they're fighting so hard, like, against women to go into the
We have
bathrooms
one representative. We have one.
Instead of not only fighting for your own bathroom, but fighting for not non-binary bathrooms. How about a bathroom that you can walk into if you feel like you don't belong in either or?
And
Because
a
if you
multi-use
don't wanna be
all-gender
in a
bathroom. Guess what? We've been having those a lot where I live. But and
So
the
what's
thing
the
about
issue then?
we can't get those in place because even these old ass Democrats have such a old school way of thinking of trans people that you as male or you as female. Like you're one or the other. They're not accepting neo-genders.
Do you realize that
Neo-genders
unisex bathrooms are
deserve
a thing?
an all-gender bathroom.
Yin,
And we have been
you're
trying
not
to do that.
listening.
But y'all
You're not
hold us
listening.
up.
You're just talking. You're not listening. Listen,
And
I'm
neither
not
are you,
saying,
bitch.
Yin, you're not okay.
Oi,
You're
drop
not about to
Yin.
call me. Someone
You
drop
just
her.
got
Seriously.
misogyny.
Yeah, I never once said to have a
No.
bathroom for they them. There are literally already many unisex bathrooms. It's called one stall for either gender. It's not an issue. So go ahead, have your little crash out because we don't agree with you. Have your little crash out because you genuinely care more about the feeling of men than the literal safety and violation of women that's already been happening in America. And it really is mind-blowing to me. And then you're going to bring Democrats into this. First of all, it has nothing to do with politics. Either side doesn't like it.
We got a runner.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. And they want to call themselves a woman, but they're referring to you as that. Get a grip. Do you know what I mean?
They don't realize the harm they're causing women.
They just want to affirm themselves. I don't actually believe that they think that they can transition into the other gender, because essentially what they're doing is pumping themselves full of hormones and getting cosmetic surgery. Even what they call a JJ does not replicate ours. And they're trying to sell the youth this dream that they can be the opposite sex, and they just can't, and it's so harmful. To affirm themselves, they want to put themselves in all places. No, you're selfish. You're a selfish person. The world doesn't revolve around you. You're making us uncomfortable.
Yes, but Lord forbid you tell a man to go back to the man's washroom due to his own mistakes.
No, it's okay, yeah. She just had a crash out because you could tell, like, I never said to fight for a they-them bathroom because, first of all, what makes her think? So she genuinely thinks in her heart of hearts that if they try to fight for a bathroom where either gender could walk in and you have a choice to, it's not like anybody has to be in the bathroom with people. She genuinely thinks that that will not be passed by the Democrats and the liberals, blah, 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 all those people. But literal men walking into the women's restroom, they think that we're going to pass that? Like, what? No. That is, like, the unisex bathroom in every public place is more likely to happen than men being allowed into women's bathrooms. Like, I don't know how many statistics I have to pull up of how many victims there were, and I don't know how many victims are going to be enough for them to realize that I really could not give less of a shit if you identify as a turd. You're not coming into my bathroom if you have a penis. You're not. Sorry. Like,
I mean, in one sense, I think it's nuanced. As in, if you are a genuine transsexual and you've had the surgery and such, you know, I give a bit more leeway to that. I really, truly
yeah, if
do.
you have the surgery, that's different because the reason why it's so, first of all, you already shouldn't be lying about things like that, but it's already so odd hearing about men walking into changing rooms, especially in pool areas, because you get completely stripped down there. But it's like the only reason why it's not quote unquote weird for me to change in front of a random girl that I don't know is because we have the same parts. That's the whole reason.
Yeah.
So if somebody has surgery and they go, it makes more sense for them to change around people with the same parts than to go into their assigned birth where they have different parts. You know what I mean? Like, this has nothing to do with being transphobic, and so many people mix it up with that. Like, if you change your genitals, go ahead. This isn't about what you feel like or who you want to be. This is about the fact that you're not that. Okay, I'm sorry. You can't just identify as something, and that makes that you. You can be called it. The literal, like, definition of identifying as something means that you call yourself that thing. That does not mean that you are that thing. You will not find one definition that says if you identify as something that makes you that thing. That's just not true. It's completely made up.
They can't say, they reduce us down to an intrinsic thought, a concept, right? I'm not disputing that some people experience body, gender dysmorphia and you want to assimilate to the other sex. I'm not disputing that. I do think it's a real thing, but it's a medical condition, right? You cannot be the opposite sex, so therefore you do not need to be in our sex based like places. You don't deserve that,
right? It has to do with it literally has to do with every last thing you can think of in this entire world, that safety comes before feelings. Just like a toxic relationship, if you're being hurt in a relationship, your safety comes before the love you have for that person. Like, it's a logical thing, and so many people are like lacking education, and they know it. Trust me, she knows. She just doesn't want to admit it because she doesn't agree with it. But she knows.
Saying that, you know, there's some females that have male pelvises, or what we, you know, what we like.
That's a mutation, yeah.
Push a baby out. Okay, cool, but that doesn't mean that you're the opposite sex. Just because you possess equality. Same way, if you possess female genitalia that's not functional and possess a male genitalia like a DSD, doesn't mean that you're a female automatically.
Also, Ice-T, you saying that trans safety comes before quote-unquote cis feelings, that is a very disrespectful and disgusting thing to say, because let me just make this point real quick. Number one, before we even get to the crime differences on both communities on who has a worse crime of men, let's start off with the fact you cannot be invited into someone's house, and then when you cause an issue and they tell you to leave,
Ice. You're saying so grow up, but you're not going to request up and explain why you made that wild claim.
Exactly.
Ice. I don't care about someone who chose to go down this route.
Right. Exactly. And you have to realize trans women, they're not women. Okay? They're not no, let me change that. They're not females. And it's a female bathroom. It's not the women's bathroom, because if it was only for women, then children wouldn't be allowed in it. So it's the female bathroom, because most places already say female in it. So number one, a trans woman, everybody knows they're not females. They want to go into a space that is not theirs. And when they're told no, it's our fault that their quote unquote safety is in danger now. I'm sorry. Are we supposed to just let them in now? No, our safety matters more to us because it's our space. You have the choice to not use the bathroom in a public place. You have the choice to do whatever you want, but you don't have the choice to invade a space and then get mad when you're told no. That's straight up male privilege.
Yes, so Ice, let me just say this, Ice. I want you to go to Google with those wonderful keyboard warrior fingers that you have, and I want you to type in trans women offending rates.
Yep. And then search up,
Then come back here and tell me that we are wrong about women's safety, that we can all kiss your ass, and then that we can all bow down to the trans ideology. Because I want you to look up that study, and I want you to tell me otherwise. I want you to
Ice-T wants to put literal hundreds of women in danger for the feelings of a few trans women. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes complete sense.
It's like as well, before this whole like wave of self-IDing and such, being transsexual, they were legally recognised as women because they've gone through the transition, they've assimilated to the point where they don't have the male equipment that can, grape us, right? And they were taken seriously. But you see, there's people that are defending men with beards in dresses, and saying they can come into our toilet. No, you can't. Can you not see what you're doing? Pushing this ideology that reduces us to an intrinsic thought. Do you not see what you're doing? You're eliminating barriers that were put in place for our safety.
Right, yes, and it's not cis people creating the most crimes. If you actually look it up, it's males. It's actually the word literally males. It doesn't say men, it says males. Males create the most crime in America by far. So let's just start off with that. And let's bring up the fact, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, they're not part of the trans community, blah, blah, blah. Lily Tino, you'd be surprised how many copy and paste of Lily Tino there are in this world, because you really want to sit there and be like, well, Lily Tino's a joke, blah, blah, blah. Lily Tino quite literally films videos about how he basically has the right to go into the woman's bathroom because he is a woman. Lily Tino talks about how it doesn't matter about children because they're not going to be uncomfortable because he's in a dress, blah, blah, blah. Like, people are so mortified, even the trans community, about Lily Tino, yet Lily Tino's saying the exact same things all of these trans people are saying that I see online.
You exile him from the community for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, Ice-T, you're talking just like Lily Tino. Yeah, you literally almost said something that Lily Tino said word for word. So go ahead and keep acting like you hate Lily Tino, but let's just be real. The only reason why a lot of the trans community claims that they don't like Lily Tino is because Lily Tino is getting so much hate. Let's just be real here. And the trans people that actually do hate Lily Tino, they're the same trans people that don't support going into the women's bathroom, that respect women. Do you know how many trans people in my school that respect women? I'm not saying this is like all trans people, but it's a lot of them, and it's especially you. Because if you can genuinely sit there and say that a male's feelings comes before a women's safety, because if you'd like, I can show you the statistics of the majority of trans women right now behind bars.
Ice-T's a race bait as well. I can't take what you're saying seriously, Ice-T, because you're saying it's cis men. What are cis men? What are men? They are males.
I don't think Ice-T knows what a bigot means. Ice-T does not know what bigot means. Ice-T, you need to chill.
Cis men are males. Trans women are males.
Hold on.
It is males
Wait,
who
Shirley.
are the oppressors and perpetrators of women.
Wait,
Yeah?
Shirley, don't talk to Ice-T unless she comes up here. Let's make that rule, because I'm sick of her
I think
ranting.
Ice-T is a bit slow.
Ice-T, we'll talk to you if you come up, but if you type in the comments, we're just going to ignore it. We're not even going to read it.
Yeah, so how do trans women's safety will always come before trans women's safety
has nothing to do, yeah.
Like, trans women's safety would not even exist without women. Because
it has nothing to do with it.
Trans women wouldn't exist if women didn't. Oh my goodness.
Exactly, and it's not a woman's feelings that she's uncomfortable and feels unsafe with you in the bathroom. You have it. Listen, here's the thing. You have a choice as a trans woman if you want to walk into the men's bathroom. Women do not have a choice if they want to use the bathroom with a trans woman. Because guess what? If a trans woman were to walk into the bathroom and a woman says, hey, I feel uncomfortable with you being in here, guess what the trans woman's going to do? Make me leave, blah, blah, blah. It's a ma'am. I'm a ma'am. Like, I see that all the time happening. Like, they're violent. They're literally the ones who go into the bathroom, the ones who respect women's safety and stay out of the bathrooms. Those are the trans women that I see all the time that I actually like. I respect them. I call them she, her. I don't care. I will call you by your proper pronouns and respect you if you respect me and my basic human right to safety.
I'm just waiting for the what's going to stop them from going in there in the first place. I'm like, well, first of all, I'm just going to say this before. If you've seen a man going into the women's washroom, a man can step in and do as he must to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, trans women, they're men, but men can't do nothing because they fall under the category of women all of a sudden.
They are men.
They're men.
They are men.
They're men. And if they respect me, yes. if they respect me, I will respect their identification, because you identifying as something, that's your feelings. And believe it or not, that's your feelings. So you could say all you want. I've known since a young age. It doesn't matter. You've had feelings since you came out the womb. That is feelings. So if somebody comes up to you and starts cussing you out, starts being so disrespectful, are you going to sit there and respect them? No. Can you choose to? Yeah. But a lot of these trans women that already are disrespectful need to get off their phone and stop posting things online like, it's our right to be respected, blah, 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 all these things. If you're storming into the bathroom, making women uncomfortable, and when they ask you nicely to leave, you yell at them, I really couldn't care less about what your pronouns are. I'm not even calling you a pronoun. I'm calling you a bitch. Get out the bathroom. I don't feel safe. I have a literal 3-year-old next to me right now staring up at a 6-foot creature with a beard and a dress. So no, it literally is dangerous. And again, not all trans women are like that, but the 74% with any sort of charge on them in their entire life, it was SA against women. That's majority of trans women that have ever been convicted of anything in their whole life. That's a lot. That's a large statistic. Do you realize that? That is way too large to be letting them into the bathroom with children. Like, dang. It is not the women's issue that you feel uncomfortable in a whole separate bathroom that has nothing to do with us, that doesn't give you the right to storm into ours and make us uncomfortable now. That's just hypocritical. Yeah.
They've made themselves unsafe. We're not there to
It's
protect
hypocritical,
them
yes.
from going into a male's bathroom. We're not there for that.
That's like saying I feel unsafe sitting in this one chair because it's not the color I like, so I'm gonna make you get up, and if you don't feel comfortable, well, you just don't care about my feelings. Like, that's not how it works. If it was your bathroom to begin with and we forced you out, that would be a whole different story. But that's not how it works, okay? If it's our bathroom, it is our space, our safety. We get to choose if we want males in there or not. If you get the surgery, come on in. I really couldn't care less. You're not a danger if you have the same parts as us. Like, it has nothing to, it has nothing to do with the trans ideology. It has to do with genitalia. That's all it has to do with.
So could I jump in here? Would that be?
Go ahead, sorry.
Should I state my age? I don't know if I should do that on this panel. Like some panels do.
Oh, I didn't. You can if you want.
Okay, cool. So I'm actually a trans man or a woman, whatever. I don't really care.
No, if you're respectful, I mean, you're a man.
Cool, thank you. I appreciate it. It's all about respect, right? I hate all this yelling. Like, I can't really get into these topics. But anyway, so I totally, like, when I heard first, when I was coming to the first, I really think it started with the bathrooms. Then I think it started with military, then the bathroom.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't forget about the military. But when I went to the bathrooms, obviously the focus was mainly on trans women. And I definitely, I could see where the women, and obviously I heard some teenage girls, really, it wasn't the kids really saying anything, but I understood where the women were coming from, because unfortunately at first when I got into it, nobody could give me cases of it happening, and I even myself went out looking and I couldn't find anything. So at first I thought it was like, one of those fear-mongering people are just, but then I guess people started finding cases like, okay, yeah, obviously this is an issue, it's a crime.
Hey, let me check. C beats matching with our metal beat will be the best. We have two hosts, two live here. I was excited for the new this. Yeah, our friends is, you don't know, today is my C beats day. Let me show you. We're gonna do for the C beats. Yeah, let me show you how they look like. Our Cindy have the 50 bags. 50 bag, so I have to wait now. Yeah, it's restocking, gonna take a long time because both go to the traveling. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. First 10. Mix. 2, 4, 6. 8, 10, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8,